Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh,
All right. Serious and Cylinder's Bodybuilding, Anabolic Academy. And I got my new friend, Gus Young, right? That's your last name, Young?
that's correct. Yes.
Okay. And Gus, you're from Australia.
Yeah, that's yeah. New South Wales, Australia, at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I recently turned 18.
Mhm.
Um, I've been training, like seriously training for a year and a half, like focusing on bodybuilding. I did my first show around 7.5 weeks ago. So I'm handling my rebound at the moment. I took second in my first ever classic physique show. It was like the opens class,
Very
and
cool.
I lost by 1 point, man. 1 point. So yeah, it's motivated me to continue into this off season, try and take some time off and grow and really improve the the spots of my physique where I need to improve. But yeah, I mean, I got into bodybuilding, like I said. I've always had a strong passion for it, but I used to play rugby,
Yeah.
and I got to a pretty high level playing rugby, rugby league, and eventually, man, I was playing at such a high level, like a rep level. They it didn't work out, and I kind of fell out of love with it. And I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this gives me a chance to give bodybuilding a crack. You know, I'm pretty muscular, I'm pretty strong. You know, I could
Right.
outbench all the guys in the older age groups and everything, and I was always the strongest, and you know, had a decent physique on me. So I was like, oh, you know, screw it, we'll give it a crack. And yeah, I mean, here we are.
All right, cool. Yeah, a lot of bodybuilders get into that. They're playing a sport and then they're working out to try to improve the sport, and they wind up falling in love with the weight training more than the actual sport.
And
Right.
that's exactly what happened with me. Like I'd get up early morning and go for runs. Um, you know, I used to ride my bike 10Ks to the nearest football stadium and flip a tire from one end of the field to the other. Do that before school, and then I'd come home and hit the weights in the afternoon. And like I enjoyed that more than actually really playing. So I think bodybuilding is a good fit for me in that sense.
All right, cool. And you're also in America we call it college, but you guys call it university, right?
Yeah. So I just graduated high school, and I'm finishing up my exams, and I'm transitioning into university. Yeah. So
Okay, cool. And what are you going to major in?
sports nutrition and dietetics. So yeah,
Very cool, brother. Very cool. Yeah, because you're gonna, you know, bodybuilding is great, but only a very small percentage of people actually make it and are able to make a living at it.
that's true.
I was one of those people that were not able to make a living at it.
You're
So I'm better on
doing
the
all right for
microphone.
yourself now, though, mate. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So you got the right attitude because you know, college could be a waste, but college could be great if you major in the right uh if you major in the right field, and that's definitely a good
Yeah,
field to major in, you know. So
yeah.
who before we move on and start answering questions, I want to know who was the guy that inspired you to start bodybuilding. Who did you like?
Phil Heath.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, yeah.
Phil Heath. There was just something about not only his physique, like clearly his physique was like just out of this world. Like I'd never seen anything like it. You know, 12 years old, and I'm watching I'm pretty sure it was a muscle and strength video he was doing, like a full day of eating. You know how they do them?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh
look at this
yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Look at this dude. Like he's just walking around, and then I just continued to go down that rabbit hole, and then I found all these Road to the Olympia videos,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, and then his mindset is really what drew me toward him. I just love that win at all costs mindset, and that's something I really clicked with. That, and I'd say probably Yates as well. I really
Okay,
like
okay.
Yates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny that you actually mention it because that's way before your time. Even Phil, you know, when he was Mr. Olympia, what were you, 10, 12,
Yeah,
8,
yeah,
you know? That's
yeah.
yeah, and Dorian, that means you went back even further. But yeah. back in the
I
day.
wasn't around then.
Yeah, right. And I gotta make fun of you a little bit because is it not you, but your country? Is it true that Australia actually lost a war to a bird?
Next question.
Because I was,
That is true. I don't know the actual logistics of it, but yeah, I'm pretty
yeah,
yeah,
it's
we
called
did.
it was the Emu War.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was,
that's
and
correct.
my friend told me because I was telling my friend at work, I was like, yeah, I got this kid coming on, he's from Australia, and he goes, they lost a war to birds. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he sent it to me.
Yeah,
I was like, so in 1932, apparently there was a public concern over emus, they're destroying crops, and
yeah,
apparently they decided that they were gonna, take out emus, and they couldn't. There were
yeah.
just too
There
many
was
of
just
them.
too many of them.
Anyway,
Well, we don't ride kangaroos to school, but we did lose a war to emus. So
that's fucking hilarious.
yeah, I
All
know.
right, let's jump into it. The first question I'm going to answer because it was directly from me. Brian Nasser on Facebook said, "Why don't you get back on stage?" And I am 47 years old, and I am not getting back on stage. I appreciate Brian for asking me that question. I appreciate it. There's no fucking way in hell. I don't want to diet anymore. When I go to the gym, it's more about like enjoying it. So what I mean by that is like there are certain workouts I like to do that's more for my mental health, right? So like I love to do arms together, bis and tris, right? But I know that most people don't get the best progress out of doing bis and tris. If you separate it, it's usually better progress. But I don't want to. But if I would have to compete, I would have to slice all those details and do those things again. Like I don't want to deadlift anymore. I had fucking back surgery. I can't squat like I used to. It's a wrap. I'm not fucking competing anymore. That's it. It's over. Thank you for asking. But after this, I'm gonna go have a piece of cheesecake. Fuck this. All
I think
right.
that's one of the main things too. Like, if you don't enjoy competing, don't do
No,
it.
it was never. I enjoyed being on stage, and I enjoyed like friends and family being in the audience, and of course, I enjoyed winning. But I never enjoyed the prep, man. The prep was just
Yeah,
awful, just fucking awful. I hate it. So,
yeah,
all right. So let's see. I'm going to give you this one, and then we'll go back to me. But
sure.
Sub Talk Radio on Instagram asks, who will be the biggest surprise at the O? Someone that will crack the top 10 no one is expecting. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I was hoping it'd be Brett Wilkin, but that's obviously not going to happen.
Yeah.
One guy who I've kept a close eye on for a couple years now, and who I really want to see do well, is Andrea Presti. I don't know if is he qualified this year?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I want to see him crack that top 10. His
Yeah.
physique is just,
Yeah. I would love to see him crack the top
yeah.
10. I don't think he's going to crack the top 10.
No, neither do I.
But I would love to see him crack the top 10, and not just because he was Italian, but because my grandparents are from Italy.
Yeah.
But taking emotion out of it, I think the guy that people are sleeping on that has a really good chance of breaking the top 10 is Tonio Burton.
That's a good pick.
He won the New York Pro, and he looks better now than he did in the New York Pro. I mean, he looks phenomenal now. He made tremendous improvements. So
And then for him to go from like the New York to Cali, I feel like that could have been a toss-up between him and Ross as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no question about it. I think Tonio Burton now could have beat Russ, but that New York Pro one didn't beat Russ.
Out of this
But
world.
Russ just came and chiseled him. No, he's another guy.
Yeah.
Actually, that you got to keep your eye on. But
Peeled.
peeled.
Have you seen his recent updates? He is shredded from head to toe.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he looks phenomenal. But I think because Tonio has made a lot of progress on size, and that's what he needs. He needs more size. And so does Russ. But because let's face it, man, once you get on the Olympia stage, these guys are just as hard, just as shredded. but they're just monsters. They're huge. They're just Derek and Samson and Nick and Hardy, and they're enormous. If they're freaks.
Samson stepped on stage. What did he say? He was 294 on stage last year. Like that's
yeah,
unheard of.
yeah, and I think he's like 5'11". What a beautiful physique too. You know, and that's something else. What were my other questions? Here we go. Go away. Where are you? Fuck. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. All right. Fran is the man always sends me questions. This one's a little strange, but I don't know. Fran is the man, top 3 nicknames in bodybuilding. I don't really follow the nicknames too much, but Gad, what do you got for that one?
The Blonde Bomber by Dave Draper.
The Blonde Bomber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sultan of Symmetry.
Who the fuck is that?
Flex Wheeler.
Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And, top 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, the top 3 nicknames about it. I don't know. That's tough because I kind of like the nicknames that are like Brett Wilkin is the Butcher.
Oh, that actually, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's
Nick
cool.
Nick Walker is the Mutant. And what was Rolly Winkler's name?
The Beast.
The Beast, right? Shit like that. I like, yeah.
I think, and then how can you go past Dorian Yates, the Shadow? For me, that
great one.
sick.
Good
that
one.
Is, yes. I think that's the best one you could have.
That probably is the best, and it was a perfect name for him because it's exactly what he would do. Yeah. That's actually really
not a bad question. I kind of like that one.
yeah. When you said the Shadow, that was a good one. All right. Yeah. Here's another good one. Who has the greatest front double bicep of all time? That's a rough one. I had to really do some thinking about that.
I have like 5 that pop into my head immediately.
Go ahead.
Of all time.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Because I can't. Go way back.
Good.
Robbie Robinson. He had a pretty nutty front double.
Yes, he did. Great pick. Because I had wrote him down too.
I think it's hard to go past Arnold because Arnold's that's a classic front double.
Yeah, for his time, it was a great front double.
Yeah. I mean, Derek's front double, like Derek's whole front poses at the moment, I think are pretty cool. I really like his front double. Yeah, I mean, they put his it's like a front relaxed pose on that muscular development, the front of the muscular development page. Like, yeah, that's never happened. So I think Derek would be like a modern day pick.
Derek Lunsford is a good one because he's just every pose is freaky on him.
Oh, yeah. It's not. It's his recent updates are ridiculous. Anyway, I'm trying to think of another one from a more recent era as well.
Well, the guy that pops out at me immediately is Victor Martinez.
Yes,
Victor Martinez front, and he had that little tilt. Like Victor Martinez when he came second to Jay Cutler in that Olympia, his front double bi was like it was like carved out of stone. It was amazing. The other guys, good.
Sean Roden, that like him, Victor Martinez, Sean Roden have that.
Sean Roden, yeah, good pick, really good pick. Yeah, that's right.
That's a cool nickname too, actually, Flexitron.
yeah,
Flexitron Roden.
Sean Ray had a pretty good front double bicep, but there was this guy. Of course, the other guys that pop into my head, of course, Lee Priest had a great front double bicep.
Paul Dillette, I like his front double.
Yeah. The mass monsters, and then of course Ronnie. But there was a guy in the 80s named Charles Claremont.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
And his front double bicep was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I gotta if I can grab a picture of him and post it because his front double bicep was amazing.
It's nutty.
There's a lot of guys. Listen, once you get to that level, there's a lot of guys. Like even Rolly's front double bicep was freaky when he was on Mont, when he was huge.
Yeah, the sheer size of his arms. It was like a head. Like he had a head like that. that arm was as big as my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, absolutely. It was insane. All right, so we did. Which bodybuilder had the most disappointing career based on potential?
Oh,
Excuse me.
I don't know. I reckon. Oh, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I reckon you could probably circle back to Rolly because I feel like he probably could have won an Olympia or at least an Arnold.
Well, he won at Arnold Australia when the Arnold was in Australia,
Yeah,
but
oh, true. Actually, yeah, he
he
did.
never
He
won the
did.
Arnold USA.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
the big
that's
Arnold.
he probably could have given Brandon a run for his money in 19 if he was competing.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple of guys that have retired. I wouldn't necessarily call him a disappointment, but I would have liked to have seen him do better as Justin Compton before he
Yes.
retired. Like
Yes,
I
really
wouldn't
good.
say he's a disappointment as such, but
He just
he had a lot
retired.
more potential. Yeah,
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 but yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right. That's a good pick, but same thing. I wouldn't say it was disappointing. He just I don't know. I don't remember why he retired. I don't know if it was health reasons, but he just decided to call it quits.
yeah. And it was
So
kind of like out of nowhere too.
out of the blue, right?
Uh,
Right? He didn't even reach his prime yet.
no.
Yeah. The two guys that
um.
jump out at me the most is Lionel Becky.
Oh, great. Yeah, yeah.
Lionel
Great.
Becky,
Yeah.
for some reason, I don't know why, he's got this God-given beautiful physique with no flaws, and he never comes in shape. I mean, it's just
What did he come in? Was it the Yamamoto Cup?
it's
And he
so,
didn't even look good for a guest posing. It's like,
yeah, it
why
was
would you even step
horrible.
on
It was
stage?
horrible. Yeah,
Oh man.
absolutely. And the other guy that jumps out at me, but this was in the early 90s, was Victor Richards.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
He
turned
could
pro
have
in
been.
92 and he just never really did anything after that. And he was a freak of all freaks.
He was a monster, man. He was
Yeah,
massive. He
yeah.
dwarfed Dorian Yates when
That's
Yates
right.
was 310 pounds in the off season.
And that
Like,
guest posing they did together. Yeah.
oh, another guy actually that has just popped in my head after you said Victor Richards was is Justin Rodriguez. I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah. I
I
could
feel
agree
like he
with
could be
that.
so much better than what he
What?
is. Like
Yeah.
his structure and like genetically, he is just he could have beat, or if he came in on, he probably could have challenged Charles for the win at Legion.
No
What was it, a
question.
week ago, two
Yeah.
weeks ago
There's no
now?
question. He
But
could have. I got on his ass a lot when I did the wrap up for the Legion, and then I did another Justin Rodriguez Legion one last night because Justin and Charles
yeah, they got into
got into a
just a little
fight,
bit scrapped.
and
Yeah,
it's like, dude, if you just put a little bit more work, because he's one of those bodybuilders that really frustrates you because he's got this beautiful physique again with like very little flaws, and he's got a good front double bicep too, actually.
yeah,
But then he doesn't, and I don't know why he doesn't suffer to get down to the nitty gritty. There was only like one or two shows that I saw that he really came in dialed in.
yeah.
He seems to do just good enough, you know.
Well, I think and I think it's the same as Lionel Biecki as well.
Yes, yeah,
If he turned it up, that just that did that extra little bit of cardio and pulled food back just a little bit, like, and came in just dry as a desert, just peeled from head to toe. Like you're looking at a top 10 guy, top 6 guy, maybe. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's
and the
yeah.
Olympia, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
There's
for
no
sure.
question about it. Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it because he had a beauty. When somebody has a beautiful symmetrical physique, God-given physique, and he has muscles that are full, like you don't look at Lionel Becky and says he needs anything. You don't look at him saying he needs more arms
No.
and more calves and more back. But it's just the fact that they don't do their homework and come in shape, and they lose because of that. That is so frustrating.
And it's yeah, and you see like Justin Rodriguez, he comes in. What was it? Was it Chicago or New York when he was working with AJ Cement Factory?
I'm not sure.
It might have been New York, but like he was peeled like that. Like that's the best he's ever looked. But
Yeah,
he coach hops, and then you go, oh well, maybe he will look good this time around, and then he just drops off again, and it's kind of like.
yeah.
That within itself frustrates me. So I don't. Yeah.
I don't know.
They
I don't. A lot of times these guys, Jason Ons hates this excuse when I bring it up, but a lot of times you don't know what is happening in their private life. And
That's true.
And Arns hates that excuse because Arns like always came in shape, whatever contest he did, no matter what was going on in his private life. You know, he was arrested. He had his wife was gave birth while he was competing in the Olympia, and he still like did everything to come in shape. And it's one thing you can never take away from Arns is that he was never not in shape. You know, so he hates that excuse, but everybody reacts differently. You know.
Yeah.
You know, so who knows, man? You know, who knows? That's why when these guys go to Iraq, like Brandon and Rolly and even Nathan.
Oh, yeah. They go away
because it's stress free. They're thinking about nothing else but bodybuilding. There's no family, there's no friends, there's nothing. There's no working. They're just concentrating on, and that's why you see. That's when these guys made incredible gains. You know, so but at the same time. It gets to a point where you're running out of excuses because it's every time you're competing. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
This next question from Franz the man. I don't know if you saw the last muscle talk I did with Jason Arns, but this is just a.
Yeah. I watched. I watched it.
He said, this question from Franz the man says, if Vanessa decided to compete in a bikini contest and asked you for help with her posing, would you take the offer? I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah.
So, of course I would, but Vanessa is not a bikini type body. She is all ass and titties. There's just bam. So she's not like, she's not fitness sexy. She's thick and curvy sexy.
Yeah. I think,
But yeah, listen, if she asked me to like, you know, hang a chandelier for her, I would. but she don't talk to anybody. She don't talk to anybody. Dude.
Yeah.
There goes that one. But all right. There's another one for me. Okay. What was your most memorable podcast episode that you recorded? Well, the bodybuilding one, I would probably, you know, most people would probably think Jay Cutler because I interviewed Jay Cutler. But the truth of the matter was the bodybuilding one, Dave Palumbo and Arns when I first interviewed Dave Palumbo. I was such a huge fan of Dave because he's from New York too. And 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 I always was a huge fan of his as a bodybuilder. And I was a huge fan of his RX Muscle, his Species line, everything that when I was able to get him on, to me, that was like, but my other channel, you might be too young, but I interviewed Run DMC. So they were. I interviewed Daryl, who was DMC. That was pretty significant. And then in my other channel, I interviewed Tom Sizemore, who recently died. He was an actor and he was in great movies with Tom Hanks and Robert De Niro and so on and so forth. But he was in excuse me. He was in let me think, what was the name of the movie? Saving Private Ryan. He had a huge role in Saving Private Ryan. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah. I love Saving Private Ryan.
He plays Mike, which is Tom Hanks's right-hand man in the movie.
Yeah.
And then he was in Heat with De Niro and Pacino, and he was part of De Niro's bank robbery crew. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
You would definitely like that movie. That's a great movie. It's fantastic.
Cool.
I mean, he was in so many other movies, but those are his two biggest roles. But yeah, as far as the bodybuilding one, I mean, Cutler was great, but the guys that growing up that I idolized that were from the New York area that I kind of were able to interact with a little bit because I would go to seminars, like Jason Arns guest posed at my first bodybuilding show. Right.
Yeah, right.
So then when I was able to get, now he's a friend. Like I'm over the being starstruck that he's my friend.
Yeah.
But Dave Palumbo, man, that was great. Jake Cutler, Linda Murray. Linda Murray was really.
Oh yeah.
Linda Murray was a good one, but I would say on the bodybuilding one, because I was such a huge fan, probably Dave. And then on the Outcast channel, either Run DMC or Tom Sizemore, one of those two. But All right. The next one.
Run DMC is pretty cool.
What's up, man?
Run DMC. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good interview. And that was like, see, that's what I mean. Remember, like had this conversation off the air before we started about how when I first started, people would turn me down, whether it was rudely or ignore me.
Yeah.
He didn't even, he asked me because he's from Jersey and we used to go to the same gym. Yeah. And he said, do you want to interview me? And I was like, are you serious? You know, so he's one of those celebrities that really give back.
Yeah.
You know,
that's good. That's cool.
He didn't charge me anything. He was just like, yeah, no problem. And it was a great interview, man. Yeah, absolutely.
That's rare.
All right, here's a question for you. Would Dorian beat Ronnie Coleman in the 98 Olympia if he never retired after winning the last Olympia?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think fuck no. No. He would have got destroyed.
You look at it, like Dorian was deteriorating and Ronnie was getting better. And 98 Ronnie, man. Oh.
Yeah, 98 Ronnie, and I think it was 2003 Ronnie.
Yeah. Those two kind of stick out.
Yeah, those are two of the greatest. I mean, when I talk about Ronnie as a bodybuilder, to me, in my opinion, he's the greatest bodybuilder that ever lived. Yeah. So I always say, like, he's the Muhammad Ali of bodybuilding, or the
Michael Jordan of bodybuilding.
The Michael Jordan of bodybuilding. Yeah, he's that guy that he would be Mr. Olympia, and like if you took him then and put him in today, he'd still be Mr. Olympia.
Without a doubt, I still believe 2003 Ronnie, definitely 98. Like, that's just, to me, I prefer his 98 physique. Yeah. I don't know why. Something about, like, obviously he had that mass, but it was nowhere near as big in 2003. But he was harder. He had more lines. I wouldn't say he looked pretty, but like his physique had more of a flow to it. Whereas 2003, he just came in just like, I am the biggest human on this friggin' planet, and there's not a thing you can do about it. Like, I'm pretty sure he's 300 pounds on stage.
Yeah, I have interviewed Brian Dobson. I don't know if you know who he is. He's the guy.
Yeah, Metroflex. Yeah.
He owns Metroflex. That's amazing that you're so young, and you know all these guys, because most 18-year-old kids that work out, they know Bumstead and that's it.
Oh, listen, man, I love bodybuilding. I like the old school bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Like Branch Warren, Johnny Jackson. That stuff's pretty cool. Like all of that. So I mean, the new stuff's cool, but yeah, I just love the history of it. So
I've had both of those guys on, Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson. And what was funny is I actually met Johnny Jackson at the Olympia, and I asked him to come on, and he said, yeah, because I went to the Olympia in 2020 when it was in Florida, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was in Orlando, and I met him, and I had him on, and he's been on several times since, right? And it was a great interview. So I just said to him, I just threw it out there, and I went, do you think you'd be able to reach out to Branch, because they're best friends, and see if he would? And he goes, oh yeah, I'll be with them today. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm at work. I get a phone call, and it's Branch Warren, and I was like, he goes, are you there? I'm like, yeah, because I couldn't know what to say. Yeah. And I had,
how cool is that?
I had him on too. Yeah, it's pretty cool after some time. Like, that's what's great about having the podcast and the YouTube channel is like, you get to interview people that you really always admired.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if I can influence young men like yourself, then it's the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, I think it has a uniqueness in the fact that, like, it can bring people together as well. Obviously, you've interviewed heaps of bodybuilders within, America and whatever else, but whoever thought that a little 18-year-old from Australia would get on here? You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool how it's able to, explore different avenues like that and bring other people together, I guess. So yeah,
absolutely. Cool. Listen, like I said, before we started, I started this as a fan, right?
Yeah.
And originally I wanted to do a variety show, but for other reasons, I split up the channels, and I do specifically bodybuilding, and meeting these guys and and before I started the YouTube channel, and I was kind of like in your position where it's like, wow, these guys are like people I look up to and people that I admire and people I want to be like, and so on and so forth. Except that now I'm older and I have more life experience, but I'm still a fan, and I don't believe that I am in the position of where I'm better than anybody. So when a young man like yourself asks, and I know you got a good head on your shoulders and you're doing well for yourself, that's never a problem. Never,
I appreciate
never.
it. Thank you.
Oh, of course, brother. Of course. I got one more question and then we'll get back to shooting the shit. All right. This was emailed to me. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to get the person in trouble. So it says, I'm taking 100 milligrams of D-bol a day. It's killing my appetite. Should I stop taking it, or can I replace it with something else? All right. Well, if 100 milligrams is a significant amount, I don't know, how much the guy weighs or anything like that, but I would, if it's killing your appetite, pull it back to 50. And if that still bothers your appetite, because what's the point? The whole idea of taking anabolics is to gain weight and put muscle on. And if you can't eat, then you kind of like, you just basically, it's a wash. It's not going to work. So if 50 milligrams doesn't stop you from killing your appetite, then what I would do is stop taking orals and see if you could find injectable D-bol, and that would be the perfect replacement. Otherwise, just stay away from orals. There are plenty of other injectables that you could use that will do the same thing as a D-bol. But if you can get injectable D-bol, obviously that's not going to kill your appetite because it's an injection. Most orals are going to kill your appetite. I've had that experience with D-bol, but Anadrol especially. Anadrol destroys your appetite, almost to the point where you feel nauseous when you're eating. It's just worthless. But yeah, that's what I would do. I don't have any more questions, but I wanted to ask you if you had any questions for me.
I seen your video, but I wanted to get, because we're getting closer, I wanted to get a solidified top 5 for your Olympia predictions.
All right. So I am number 1. I think Derek is going to win this year.
I would have to agree.
But it would not surprise me if Hadi gets another win, because he's not the kind of guy that's going to go away easy. Do you see
some of these training videos he's been putting out? Oh my god!
Insane. Yeah, it's insane.
It's like he's like pissed off, and he's like, you count me out? Watch me, you know what I mean? So
the problem with him as Mr. Olympia is, 1, he doesn't speak English, and 2, he has a very hard time traveling because he's in Iran. And it's very hard for him to get a visa and travel, so he can't guest pose. He can't be at the Pittsburgh Pro and pose. He can't be at the Atlantic States and pro pose. He really and he has trouble communicating because he doesn't speak English. So it's difficult. It's difficult for him. So so people in the States and in Australia and in the UK, they kind of forget about him because it's like, where most of the time the Olympia winner makes his rounds and he does guest posings and he does seminars and so on and so forth. And he's a mouthpiece for the Olympia. So I would say 1, Derek, although I would not be surprised if Hadi takes it again, but Derek, I'm going, if Hadi, so now it's where it gets, all right. I'm going to say Hadi 2nd and 3rd Samson.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to put 4th Nick and 5th Brandon.
Yeah. I was thinking about this earlier. I probably agree with that. Although Brendan's been looking good, so
yeah, you ain't kidding. Yeah, now like I could be dead wrong, because you never know. Anything could happen. Somebody could come out of shape. The pictures on Instagram are completely different. But as of right now, that would be my top 5: Derek, Hadi, Samson, Nick, Brandon. Because after that, who is it? After that, because those are the most complete bodybuilders in the world, right there.
Without a doubt. I mean, Samson from head to toe is just like crazy, and he has the size to back it up. If he can come in peeled,
I wouldn't be surprised if he wins. If he could come in harder than the Arnold Classic, he could win too.
It's game over.
Yeah. But then after that, you have Andrew Jack, Hunter, You got who else? Then you got the guys like Crizzo and
I
Nate.
was just about to ask you that. That was going to be my next question. Where you reckon Crizzo will place?
Yeah, I think
Seeing
Crizzo will.
Ian's out, Brandeo's out,
Yeah,
and it leaves some spots for him to move up. So
yeah, I think Crizzo will definitely break the top 10 because he looks better than he did last year. If I were to guess, I would probably put him in the 7th, 8th, 9th spot, like around there, right?
yeah.
Because you still got Tonio, you still got Hunter, you still got Andrew Jack, you still got let's not forget what's his name, Nathan D'Asher,
Yasha, yeah.
you still got Russ Flanagan, is that his name?
Yeah.
Still got Phil Klahar. You got a deep. You got Andrea Presti. You got a deep. This is a deep lineup.
This is.
Yeah, this has turned out to be probably one of the best Olympias, because you don't what's great about the Olympia now is that nothing is a given.
No,
right? You're not going, oh, Phil Heath wins again.
That's the exciting part about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had where do you see Hunter placing? Do you see him getting in that top 5 or not?
No, because if you can't beat Andrew Jack, then I don't think Andrew Jack is going to be in the top 5.
And that guy is.
So
ridiculous.
I mean, I think I could see Hunter being, anywhere from 5th to 7th, like that, around that. But I don't think he's going to break into, because you got to remember, like, Samson's better, Derek is better, Hardy is still Hardy, Nick Walker is better, and even though Hunter is better, Hunter is not up there. Hunter is better because he worked on his conditioning.
Yeah,
he's not better because he put on more quality muscle like Derek and Samson and Nick, and these guys that just and Brandon looks great, and Hardy still looks great. So if you couldn't beat them last year and they look just as good or even better, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for them. But anything could happen. Brandon could slip, Hunter could come in. I mean, Andrew Jack. That was my biggest thing. If Hunter can't beat Andrew Jack, and that was a good Hunter that couldn't beat Andrew Jack.
Yeah. Andrew he was on, man. That was
that's probably the best Andrew we've ever seen. But he still has that. Yeah. He still has that hamstring, glute, and lower back issue where he just can't seem to dial that in right. But anything else?
Well, where do you see Crizzo placing you? Do you reckon Crizzo can place ahead of Hunter? Because I feel as though
if Hunter
comes in, then again, I don't know. Crizzo could be improved because he's just so dry, man, and then he's big as well. Yeah. I reckon Crizzo he could probably squeeze into that top 6, I reckon, honestly. Yeah. So where do you reckon Crizzo will place?
Here's the thing. I think Crizzo could be like in the 6th, 7th, 8th spot, but he came in 12th last year, so that's a significant jump. Here's the thing with guys like Crizzo. I think Crizzo is Russian or Ukrainian. I'm not right.
Yeah,
I think he's Russian.
I don't know. Something like
that. Their work ethic is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's true.
Same thing with the Middle Eastern guys. So Hadi, their work ethic is that they're not going to fail anybody, and they're not going to fail themselves. They're always going to show up at their best. So the guys, only Father Time is going to beat Hadi. Father Time is going to beat Crizzo, right? So when Crizzo is this young and continuously making improvements, and he has that work ethic, because that's that. They have that do or die mentality in the Ukraine and Russia and so on and so forth, and the same thing in the Middle East. So I think that alone is going to push him. Is going to push him greatly. It's like the difference between Charles Griffin and Justin. Charles, you could clearly see he puts the work in, and he's not going to give up. Where Justin is like that good enough bodybuilder. Or a guy like Crizzo is never going to be good enough. The guy like Crizzo is going to be he's always going to put that work in. So I think you're going to see him jump up significantly in placings. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one because you got so many
I'm
guys.
really excited, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be a really, really good one, man. So now you are on Instagram, right? What is your Instagram?
Well, it's a bit of a dicky name. It's young with a U and a YUNG underscore lifts.
Okay, all right.
It's one of them dicky usernames. I kind of just threw it together.
Well,
in
I'll
a
make
hurry,
sure
so
that's in
everyone-
the. I'll make sure it's in the description because you post a lot of workout clips and posing clips, and you're a young guy and you're pursuing bodybuilding. So if anybody wants to check and see your journey, they could clearly go and check and see your journey, and see your daily routine and whatnot and your workout. Because it's guys like you that are 18 and are really loving bodybuilding and really getting into it. They're few and far between. Like most kids most guys your name aren't into hardcore bodybuilding. Like they're into like I said, they know Bumstead, they know they
the
don't
Bradley Martin guys, the Eubanks, whatever they're called. Like,
oh yeah, that's
dude,
right.
I walk into the gym and every single kid's wearing like a Gymshark t-shirt with a a $10 tripod from Kmart, and they're trying to flex. Trying to flex in the mirror and show me something. I'm like, man.
It's what's funny. It's like what's funny is I saw this meme on it wasn't a meme, but there's a little video on Instagram, and the guy was saying that the younger generation has a reverse body dysmorphia. Like when I was younger, like when I was younger, the guys would be afraid to like take their shirt off because they didn't think they looked good enough or big enough. And now the guys do one set and they're just in the mirror posing, taking their shirts off or whatever.
And the set they do, I wouldn't even call a set. I wouldn't even call it warm-up set. But I mean, it's like I said, I love bodybuilding. I love the lifestyle of it. I just love the monotony of getting up and eating the same 6 meals, 2.5, hours apart every single day, training, just balls to the wall. You know what I mean? And I just that I find enjoyment in that, and I think that's where we've kind of lost it. And I notice it now with kids in the gym and guys my own age. It's kind of like, oh, I just go to the gym to look good for TikTok and shit like this. And it's like, no, man, I go there because I love it. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's that disconnect. So, yeah, I think it's I'm just trying to, like, I hate filming myself for Instagram, and even like I'll film a warm up set or something. I even hate doing that, like taking my my pump cover off, as they say, and select in the mirror to get a couple shots. Like, I hate doing that, but I know in order to sort of put myself out there, I need to do that. But so
I was actually having a conversation with my editor, the girl who edits everything, and I was like, I think I should start doing some workout videos, and she goes, yeah, I think that would be good, but I never. That means if I do a workout video, that means somebody has to come with me because I'm not going to be able to set up a camera and do all that bullshit. I'm certainly not buying a fucking tripod, right? That's not happening.
No, wait, dude, I put it on a drink bottle, and half the time I forget. Like,
So that means somebody has to come with me. Somebody has to fucking video it for me, and that means I'm gonna have to be in like a tank top or a sleeveless shirt where I usually train. What I train, my attire is what the weather is. If it's in the summertime when it's really hot, I'll wear a tank top. But like today, in the States, it's cold now, so I wear a fucking sweatshirt with a hoodie. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wear like the GUS clothes, like the big baggy clothes.
Yeah.
I don't need people to tell me how good or how bad I look. That's
yeah. Well, listen, Gus, I want to first of all, it's a pleasure having you on. Okay. So, cause a young guy like you, is the future of bodybuilding and the future of the youth is the future of the world, obviously. So, a young guy like you with his head on straight, is always a pleasure to talk to and meet good people like yourself. So I want to wish you the best of luck. Best of luck in bodybuilding, best of luck in college or university, as you call it. And we will stay in touch on Instagram. So always
For
much
sure.
love, much respect. Always, my friend.
Thank you very much. Like I said off air, I really appreciate you putting me on. Like when I sent you that message, it was honestly just stab in the dark. We'll see what happens. But you know, I'm very grateful that you replied and you know, agreed to have me on, and it's been a blast, man. Like I said, like you said, we'll stay in touch, and
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll look forward to it.
All right, brother. I will let you know when everything comes out. This should be out tomorrow, and of course, I'll tag you in on Instagram, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, for sure, man. Easy. Thank you very much.
You got it, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
See you, John.